Hey everybody, welcome to this 3-day quest. I've been a little bit busy with the book launch. We've just got our book into 5 categories as an Amazon #1 bestseller, so my mind has been a little bit occupied with Rebirth, our new book. But as I promised, I wanted to come on and I wanted to do this 3-day quest to help you bring some ideas together, to help you formulate how you can help your clients get epic results every time. I'm just going to flip across to my slides. As you can see, I am in this beautiful garden. This is my home garden. It's actually on the edge of the jungle here on Koh Chang, little island just off the coast of Cambodia, where I have been hiding out and living for the last 4 years. Beautiful place. There will be a little bit of noise. Maybe you'll hear some birds. There might be someone who drives down the driveway, but let's get to it. Ultimately, I don't want to waste your time. So, as I said, welcome. This is a 3-day quest. This is obviously day 1 of the 3 days it is. And we are going to be exploring. If you see my eyes starting, it's because I am actually reading from my screen because I want to keep on track. But what we're going to do is we're going to be exploring how you can heal deep emotional scars and trauma. So obviously you can get out of your way. Once you get out of your way, you will be able to empower more of your clients so they can also get epic results every time. So we're going to step into the idea of, yes, I can't unfortunately turn down the volume, but I hope you enjoy the background noises. We're going to play with and we're going to start to explore the idea of how to use the power of your story to heal the world and to help your clients achieve life-changing, epic results. A little bit about me. If you don't know who I am, if you're new to my world, I guess the first thing is, if you like the content, please hit the notification bell and the subscribe button. And if you've got any questions, pop them below in the chat box. That would be absolutely awesome. A lot of people will be watching this back on the replay, which is great. So if you're not familiar with, if you're new to my world, I should say, I'm a mentor, motivational speaker, and trauma recovery advocate. I'm the creator of the Trauma Recovery Method, and I have 2 #1 Amazon best-selling books. One was released at the weekend, and the other is around my story and my methodology. But ultimately, what I do is I help women to step into the spotlight by creating brilliant personal development books that make an impact, change lives, leave a legacy. And I do that with them as a co-authored project in less than 10 weeks. So I work with women really who are highly motivated. They think outside of the box. They are absolutely rule breakers, and they have a tendency to lead the way. They become that beacon of light for other people to follow. They are really big action takers, and they are able to use their story to inspire others to create change. Ultimately, your story is one that is powerful. It is a great gift. It is your biggest asset within your business. That is ultimately you. Your story is uniquely yours. No one else owns it, only you. I'm getting a bit hot. The sun's just going down and it's a bit humid here. So only you can embrace the vulnerability and the strength of your story. Only you can dance and play within the beauty of that relationship. But here's the thing, and this is the truth. I see way too many women who are looking outside. So they are looking at everybody else, and unfortunately, they have a tendency to copy what they believe is working, which is risky business, right? Because The truth is, you don't know what's working. You don't know what relationship that entrepreneur has with their audience, or the connections or the relationships they have going on in the background. Business is never straightforward. It is never how it seems on the surface. So way too many women are just looking at what other people are doing, and then they are taking that on board, and they're trying to run a business based on what it is other people are doing and they believe in success is successful. This is an absolutely epic mistake. I have 2 street dogs over in the corner. One's a little bit poorly, and I have my cat here, and I'm a bit worried that the street dogs might actually go for the cat. So if you see me run or jump, this is the problem with doing live. When it's raw, it's unpredictable and you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, golden rule number 1, you need to start looking inward. So they're looking for the answers that only they can answer ultimately at the end of the day. And you can only do that by turning inwards and connecting with your higher self. If you don't know what your higher self is, that's a conversation for another time. But ultimately, short but sweet, it's the very best version of you. It's the version of you that holds no baggage, no drama, has your best interests at heart. And we can go inwards and connect with her to help us to make the very best decisions. They have absolutely become experts at comparing themselves with others, telling themselves that they're not good enough, that they are waiting for the right time to become visible, to really take ownership of what they know to be true. And ultimately what happens is they miss out on opportunities, and they end up sabotaging their success every time. Then they get stuck in this trauma loop of, it's not working, I'm not good enough, no one's buying it, no one will pay for it, people aren't connecting with me. But the reality is, the truth is that they haven't gone inside and explored what's going on and what is unique to them, what is the vulnerability and strength that they can play in. And they are looking at things externally and thinking, oh, she's doing that. How can I adapt that for myself and make it work? It's a big no-no. Now, here's what I realised, and it took me a long time to realise this, and it is absolutely that the answer, as I've already said, is deep within you. It is below your ego. It is below the unhealed emotional scars it is that you have gained along the way, and trauma. This is ultimately what is getting in the way of a lot of women playing a much bigger game and being successful. They are getting in their own way without even realizing it, because there is trauma and deep emotional scars that is playing out deep in their subconscious that they are not aware of. And that absolutely happened to me. It will absolutely stop them from achieving the success it is that they truly, truly desire. This is what happens when the trauma of your past basically lives in the present moment and is predicting your future. It's impacting on the life that they're living in the here and now. And it's really interesting that I carried this around myself personally for so long, and I can see it so clearly in other women now. I see it in their BS, I see it in their stories, I see it within their marketing. It's very noticeable to me now. So once you get it, you get it. And it's not obviously because they're not smart enough or intelligent enough, because I'm pretty smart. I am pretty intelligent. Okay, I can't spell because I'm dyslexic, but I am smart, I'm intelligent, I am clued up. It's not what this is. I know it to be true because, as I said, it used to be me. It's also why our clients decide to work with us. They know that it's time to take ownership of their story and to triumph over trauma. It's time for them to step into the deep healing and recovery process and journey it is that we take them on, writing co-authored books which are focused on triumph over trauma. And this is ultimately so they can confidently share their story with the world, make an impact, and also leave that legacy as well. The great thing about books is they last forever. It's not like a course or a program that you write and then that you shelve a couple of years later. There is longevity in a book, and it will make a much bigger impact around the world. So I guess the question is, how can you use the power of your story to heal the world and help your clients achieve epic life-changing results? It's a really good question, and I guess it's multi-dimensional as well. But let's start with the basics. And it's very simple. It's ultimately starts with you and your own journey of trauma and emotional recovery and healing. The transformation it is that you have taken yourself on, that journey. People need to know that you can walk your talk, that you're going to have their back, that you're going to be there for them, that you've actually worked through processes and your own difficulties and challenges and come out the other side. Because ultimately what happens if you haven't done that inner work, what happens is your clients will get stuck. Also, cat's attacking my feet. Also, on the flip side of that, what will happen is that your clients get stuck, but your business will also freeze as well. So you won't be attracting the right clients. You may not be attracting any clients at all. You're struggling to put your fees up. Your messaging is really hitting the mark. You put messages out there, you put stuff out there, but nobody replies. So it's a really good question, but the simple answer is it starts with you and your own journey and whether you are really ready to do the inner work. And I do believe this is why there are less successful women in business, is because they get sucked into the drama of what is playing out in their internal world. They're not prepared to do the internal work that's going to move them forward. They believe that it's a strategy, something that somebody else is doing, but actually it's never the case. You have to put the work in, absolutely, 110%. If you don't put the work in, as I said, all that happens is that your clients will get well and truly stuck. The business will slow down and it won't grow as quickly as you would want it to. It becomes stagnant. And then there's a whole list of things that start to play out outside of the business. People say stuck because you haven't addressed what you need to look at. So our clients, we find that our clients have got stuck in a bit of a loop. They've got stuck in what I call a trauma loop. And actually it's pretty much what I was just describing, is that the business becomes a bit stagnant. They're stuck. They can't seem to move forward. They're really struggling. No one's responding to their message. So they get stuck in this loop and this funky mindset, and it can be quite difficult to shift and get out of. But ultimately, they want to take their business to the next level. And they work with us for us to help them navigate the complexity of what is happening. They are often absolutely sick to death of experience the same day in, day out, a bit like Groundhog Day, working incredibly hard and not getting where they want to be. But what's happened is they haven't realized that it's an inside-out job. And when we start working with them on their story that goes into a co-authored book, is what it does is it releases what it is that they need to look at. So they not only get the visibility and the exposure, and also joining an absolutely awesome community of women that have their back and are all on a big mission, have a big vision, is that the energy starts to shift. They start to heal what it is that was holding them back and stopping them from moving forward. So Here's what I want you to work on today to start freeing up some of that energy, to start going inwards, to start to see if you can shift things into a different perspective for you. Now, I don't want you to go heavy into this. What I want you to do is just think about situations, your life story. Think about your life story, but don't go into the detail of it. Don't get dragged into the harshness of your story, because some stories are going to be harder than others. So have a think about what pushes your buttons. What pushes your buttons? What makes you feel mad? What makes you feel sad? What irritates you? You know, when you get an emotional response to something that doesn't feel happy, when you feel that you have become emotionally triggered. So once you've written all of those down, you might have a whole list, you might just have a couple. Either way is absolutely perfect. What you want to do is then pick out one that you want to explore in a little bit more detail. So pick that one and then ask yourself this series of questions. How different would my life be if I was able to let this go? Who do I need to be able to forgive? Challenging one, but it's actually an important question, because if you're moving into a level of resistance, you know, actually, that is definitely something that you need to look at. Forgiveness is a big one when you're dealing with deep emotional and trauma recovery and healing work. But once you step into it and you learn to master it, your life, I guarantee you, will absolutely change. So who do you need to be to be able to forgive? What has this story stopped you from doing, being, and having? Here's the thing about stories. They're not, even though we think they're the truth in our head, they may not necessarily be the truth. They can be based on all sorts of things and they can get distorted over the years. It's not to mean that the core of the story isn't true and that your experience isn't what you experience. That's not what I'm saying. But we can absolutely change our perspective and the relationship that we have with traumatic and emotional stories. Once we have a sense of freedom from those experiences, then we can create a new story. Then things look very different and we can heal and we can let things go and things can be put in their rightful place. So where was I? What part of your story do you need to share with others to inspire them, to help them being one step closer to being able to let things go for themselves, to be able to recover and heal? What is it? What's the part of your story that people need to be inspired by? What's the knowledge? What's the insight? What is it that you can share with them? Our books now are really forming an educational piece, and that educational piece is that the women who are writing in the books are sharing their knowledge, insight, and wisdom. So they're handing down their learnings to the younger generation. So that'll have a knock-on effect. It means that people will be in a situation to make much smarter, much faster, much quicker decisions, which ultimately is going to help them to live a happier and healthier life. Education is absolutely the key here. So, final question. What do I need to do to share my knowledge, insight, and wisdom with others to help them recover and heal? Well, I think I just actually said that a minute ago. So, some questions to ask yourself. Have a think about what irritates you, what gets in your way, what winds you up, what makes you mad, what makes you sad, what makes you angry. And then go through those questions and start to play with the story. Start to see what is happening in that story. Because as I said, the relationship with that story can actually be changed. It's whether you have a willingness to go inside and play with it and to change it, to free some of the energy around it. Because when we are looking at the power of stories, we always go on a transformational journey ourselves. The clients it is that I've been working with on Rebirth, they have all gone on their own personal journey of trauma recovery and healing. Hello. Okay, so I will leave you with those questions. Have a play around with them. Let me know how you get on. And tomorrow what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to drop fear and safely, authentically lead. So I will see you tomorrow for day 2 of the quest. And hopefully, yes, I'm still here. Awesome. Perfect. Now I've got to turn myself off without cutting myself off or ending the video.